Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Minhyuk Shawal, Xiaoxiao, and Dibyendu from Virginia Tech. And today we are going to present our final paper virtually, which is the evaluation of AI-generated concept exercise from students' perspective. So the motivation of this research stems from seeing various research papers that discuss how students use ChatGPT to navigate through their academia journey. Since before the release of ChatGPT, there were papers that discuss how they are concerned that students will use GPT tools to submit assignments that are done by GPT instead of done by the students. And since the release of ChatGPT, there are been several papers that have been released that discuss the implications of ChatGPT in education context, in students' perspective, including Tianjia's paper, which is one of our classmates. However, there are only very few papers that discuss how instructors can use ChatGPT for their in their instruction experience. One of the examples would include reading Quizmaker from Lu.
So these are the research questions that we try to answer in this project. So first one is what is the impact of AI generated exercise on students? And the second and third one is to find out the positive and negative perception expressed by the students regarding the exercise generated by generative AI. And the fourth research questions, we try to give a set of guidelines from the students' perspective about if a person want to design an entire course by generative AI, what guideline they should follow from the student's perspective. So these pipeline we followed to came up with our question set. So all of us used a different kind of prompt to generate 20 separate questions. For example, some of us provided the whole slide, some of us provided keywords, and also some of us with those information added some words like practicality and sense of accomplishment. And then we all together sit, and also then we discussed and finally came up with 6 questions. 4 of them were MCQ questions, and two of them were broad questions. And also with those 6 questions, we added 6 human-generated questions. So in our final question set, there was in total of 12 questions. So we conducted one student session in one of the workshop of intermediate software engineering course in Virginia Tech. So as I mentioned, there were 12 questions in total, and the students were asked to give answer of those questions. And after that, they were asked to fill up one post-survey questionnaire where we asked about their opinion, their positive thoughts, negative thoughts about those generative exercises. And in average, the session was like 1 hour, but it took like 20 to 30 minutes for them to complete it. So now let's come to our answer of the research questions. So for the first research questions, we divided it in 2 parts. The first one is for the MCQ, and the second one is for the broad part. So for the MCQ questions, here the blue one are the human generated and the red one are the AI generated. So we can see that more students can give correct answer for the human generated one, and less students gave correct answer for the AI generated one. So in the post-survey questions, we found out that some of the students talked about the ambiguity of the options, and also some students were concerned about the irrelevant topics, and also the questions were not clear to them for the AI generated one. So those could be some of the effect of AI generated questions on their performance of the MCQ questions.
For the performance of student broad questions, there were 4 free response questions, and we used both manual rubric that humans generated and an AI rubric that ChatGPT has generated to evaluate the free response questions. And 3 out of 4 questions, the manual grade rubric, when we graded with manual grade rubric, the students scored higher compared to when it was graded with AI grade rubric. We graded on a 100-point scale. The average score for manual grade rubric was 87. The average score for AI rubric was 82.
So as we mentioned before, we ask students per section on the AI generated question. They just perform as a concept exercise. First, we're asking them to about the difficulty of the question, and if the quiz help them understand the concept and how they rate the quality of the questions. In general, the students think the difficulty of the quiz is more in a median level, which is nice. And most of students think the quiz help them to understand the concept well, and they rate most of them they rate the questions quality is higher than 5, which all this means the quiz they just perform the exercise have a reasonable difficulty, help them to understand the concept, and have the great qualities. And we're also asking, were you able to identify the difference between AI-generated question and human-generated questions? Which most of the students report they cannot identify the differences, which means we can using AI-generated question to help students to understanding the concept exercise. So we also asking students have any positive perception on the quiz. We categorize encoding the response of the free response for the positive perception. The top categories will be education, writing, fairness, natural. Means the some student mentioned the quiz helped them to see what I was actually understanding the course material, and the overall question in a great writing format, and cover different have great spread between the multiple choice and free response questions. And this quiz seems to be non-AI generated, which means natural to them. Here is a more clear distribution of their positive perception. We can see most of the students mention about the education and writing and fairness, which means the quiz they just exercising really help them to improve the understanding of a class material, and the question is in a well-written format and cover great have a great balance about the question coverage on the software engineering class. This is noting that the some student perception will include multiple codes, which means their answer will including probably both including education and the writing coding. So the total number probably not adding up equals to the final number of the response. We also asking students about the negative perception. The top categories will be unfairness, extensive format, and vague, which means even though in the positive perception, some students think the quiz is have a great balance of the question coverage, but some students still think it's unfairness. They think some knowledge is not covered in the questions, and some of them also think the format is not good enough. Sometimes they think it will be better for multiple choice instead of free form response. And here is a more clear distribution of the student negative perception. We can see the top 5 will be unfairness and the clear, vague, extensive format, and the system of the quiz is not structured to answer the question properly. All this negative perception can be used for us to provide great guideline for the instructor to using AI to generating quiz.
Okay, so based on the answers of the RQ1, RQ2, RQ3, we came up with some possible guidelines from the student's perspective about designing one course from by using generative AI. So first of all, in our post-survey questions, we found out that 24 out of like 55 responses were completely positive. and 19 of 55 responses were conditional positive. So that means like students are okay with it if it follows some of the requirements. So among the requirements, we also found out some of the interesting things, like they mentioned that AI should be only integrated in Google Form or Canvas quiz or any form of medium where they can give their like exams properly. And also they mentioned about that the AI can be used, but the content should be human reviewed, and also the information and the answer should be reviewed manually before actually deployed it. And we actually found out that like in our study, like 12 total responses, either neutral or negative. So we can say that most of the students are like positive about incorporating AI into designing courses. So some of the guidelines that we can suggest that like the exercise should be like reviewed by the instructors, and also the options should not be ambiguous, and also like the instructors should like give more emphasis on the well structure of the questions, and also they can integrate AI in their like assignment assisted tools.
All right. So with every project, there is always some room for improvement. So we can incorporate prompt engineering for enhanced AI output. So we would like explore different techniques to optimize the quality of these AI generated exercises, and we could investigate some methods to come up with better prompts. So like the prompts that we give to these AI tools for better alignment with different students' learning styles. The other thing which could be done is refinement of rubric creation. So like we could improve the rubric which is used for grading the exercises to ensure effective assessment of these AI generated exercises and traditional exercises. We could explore some strategies for aligning these rubrics with the learning outcomes of the course and providing clear guidelines for evaluation. Other thing which we could do is exploring different instructors' perception. So like we could conduct interviews or surveys with instructors to understand their perception or their viewpoint of using these AI generated exercises, and their integration into their course curriculum. And we could collaborate with different educators across a bunch of different colleges or within Virginia Tech, within different departments, to see or to collect their feedback on the usability of incorporating these AI generated exercises in their teaching practices. We could also introduce another form of questions. So like we have variability in format of AI generated questions. So we could include like short answers or some coding exercises and see how these AI generated tools or exercises helps with like different format of questions. We can also monitor the long-term impact study. So like we could monitor students over multiple semesters, and we can see how different students from a bunch of different courses learn with these AI generated courses, or how they perform with these AI generated exercises. So we could extend to like different courses and different semesters, multiple semesters, and see what is the long-term impact of this kind of using these AI tools. And then we could also like use comparison with other AI models, so we could see how effective are the exercises generated by different AI models. So yeah, in conclusion, we have designed some AI generated and human generated questions. We conducted a workshop to collect student perceptions about these AI generated questions. We evaluated free form response by AI generated rubric, and then a human created rubric. So like one of us created a rubric for questions, and then we created a rubric by AI to like and then compare it. So overall, we observed a positive academic impact of these AI exercises and improved academic performance. And then we were able to like get some rich student insights, like the students' perspectives and their preferences on using these AI tools, which help us in understanding the impact of artificial intelligence in our classrooms. So that's all. If you all have any questions, we would be happy to answer. You can post it in the discussion and we will get back to you. Thank you very much.